All right, folks, we are on the journey. We are on it together to watch every single WrestleMania chronologically until WrestleMania 40 in April. Historic, iconic, but today we're going to be talking about WrestleMania 4, which was none of those things. This was, I hope, the worst WrestleMania because I cannot sit through another one like this. So let's get into it. So this WrestleMania was based around the tournament. So the tournament was for the vacated heavyweight championship. So previously to this WrestleMania that happened in 1988, Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man, tried to buy the heavyweight championship from none other than Hulk Hogan. And in 1988, WrestleMania 4, this was the first WrestleMania not to feature the main event with Hulk Hogan. Previously, Mr. DiBiase did try to buy the heavyweight championship from Hulk Hogan, and he said, nay. WrestleMania 3, which I watched last week, the main event was Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant. The body slam heard around the world when Hulk Hogan body slammed Andre the Giant. Hulk Hogan winning, and that feud between Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant spanned that whole year from 87 to 88, with Hulk Hogan being WWF heavyweight champion. Now, due to Hulk Hogan not wanting to sell his heavyweight championship to the $1 Million Man, the $1 Million Man became a little conniving, as he was. So during one of the main event shows in early 1988, we were going to have Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant, again because of their year-long feud. At this main event, we were supposed to have Dave Hebner as the referee, but his twin brother, Earl Hebner, took his place, and Earl was paid off by the $1 Million Man to screw over Hulk Hogan. When Andre the Giant had Hulk Hogan pinned, Hulk Hogan lifted up his shoulder, but Earl just kept counting. 1, 2, 3. Andre the Giant wins the heavyweight championship at this main event show early 1988. That was not a very long reign because DiBiase bought it from Andre the Giant, but the president, Jack Tunney,
controversy to surround a World Wrestling Federation Championship match. Despite having viewed time and again videotapes of the Hogan-Andre match, the decision of the referee is, as always, unfortunately, final. Therefore, Hulk Hogan is not the World Wrestling Federation champion. However, it clearly states in the rulebook that in order for a wrestler to be deemed a champion, he must either pin the reigning title holder or make him submit. That is the only way a wrestler can become champion. Therefore, unequivocally, I can state that Ted DiBiase is also not the World Wrestling Federation champion.
Was like, hey, nay, this is not how it works. This is now a vacated belt. So going in to WrestleMania 4, we had a vacated championship, which lies the issues. If you were in my live over on the Wrestling for Life Network, I was struggling. Let me tell you, this was a hard watch. There were a few matches sprinkled in there, and there were some great matches, do not get me wrong, but each match was a breakdown list by the Miss Vanna White. She was there. Allegedly, Vince McMahon. This was still a little baby project, you have to think, in terms of WrestleMania and wanting it to have longevity. And here we are going into WrestleMania 40. But Vince McMahon wanted to make each of these WrestleManias, a little bit different, have a different vibe. So going into WrestleMania 4, having this vacated belt, having this long 4-hour, 3.5-hour tournament, pretty much, it was a hard watch. Because of the number of matches on this card due to the tournament and the other matches sprinkled in, it was a long pay-per-view. And because of that, there was about 16 matches on this card. So some of these matches, if not a lot of them, were very short. They had to be quick to get through the pay-per-view and not make this 7 hours. So here's an example. One of the matches I actually did enjoy, which had a 15-minute time limit draw, was between Rick Rude and Jake the Snake. I actually, you know what? With the time given, I actually really enjoyed this match. Another great match on the card was actually Greg Valentine versus Ricky Steamboat. I mean, did Ricky Steamboat ever put out a bad match back then? I don't know. Let me know. We'll go back and say the Rick Rude and Jake the Snake Roberts. I did not like how that match ended. It ended in a time limit draw, so nobody won, and that just meant that the one-man gang went on to the semifinals because he couldn't go up against anybody because Jake the Snake and Rick Rude both lost. So, I mean, that's a good way to make the pay-per-view go by a little bit faster, I guess. Aside from the tournament, we also had a tag team match with Demolition versus Strike Force. This was okay. Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant did have a match during this as well, but this match ended in a double disqualification, which, okay, that is what it is. And I was a little bit happy because I knew that Hulk Hogan wasn't going to go to the end. I wasn't going to have to see him in the 4th main event. But, you know, we always have WrestleMania 5. And my least favorite gimmick in the history of wrestling, I'd rather see the Yeti than have to sit through one more honky-tonk man anything. I get it. He's good in the ring. Do not get me wrong. Discount Elvis thing. I'm not shook up. I do not love it. Honky-tonk man against Brutus Beefcake. This was for the IC belt. I also really enjoyed this. I really like the Brutus Beefcake. He, you know, gives me things that I need in wrestling. I love his outfits as well, his little costumes. So Brutus Beefcake did end up winning that, but by disqualification. So just one more point before we get to the main event of this. It was Bam Bam Bigelow versus One Man Gang, which is not an easy name to say. So Bam Bam Bigelow threw himself out of the ring, attempted to do a cartwheel, counted himself out. This was a hot mess. This did not need to happen. I still don't know what happened. I don't even want to look into it. I'm offended that they put that on my screen. This whole pay-per-view was a hard watch, and I got a little more unhinged the longer it went on. But one more positive, it was Ted DiBiase and Randy Savage at the very end of this. They were the last two in the tournament, which was kind of cool because Ted DiBiase was the one to kind of have a hand in vacating this belt in the first place. So seeing him at the end with Macho Man and Miss Elizabeth in his corner, and this was a stellar match. This is a match that I could watch again. And in the end, our man, Macho Man Randy Savage, did go on to win the whole tournament and the heavyweight championship. Guys, this pay-per-view, holy... I'm going to rank all of the WrestleManias now that they will be fresh in my noggin at the end of this, probably in March 2024 when I get through all of them. But this is probably going to be last on my list. Maybe with the feuds and everything, if I lived through it, you guys let me know for those more seasoned professional wrestling fans. I was not around during this time, so I was not watching wrestling and lived through Ted DiBiase trying to buy the belt from Hogan and then Andre the Giant, you know, so you guys let me know if this was like a big pay-per-view that you loved watching live when it happened. But man, I'm gonna give it like a 2.7 out of 10 on this pay-per-view. Please never mention this pay-per-view to me again. But next week we will be watching WrestleMania 5 over on the Wrestling for Life Network. So shoot on over there, give them a follow, a subscribe, all that stuff. I will be live reacting to that on that channel next week. And then I will be reviewing it on this channel. Let me know what you thought about WrestleMania 4. Click that like, subscribe, follow, all that stuff button. And I'll see you next week.